Hey guys, ThatHorrorCritic, and today we're going to be talking about the 1984 horror film A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's directed by Wes Craven, and it was written by Wes Craven. This is produced by New Line Cinema. Alright, so this one is a little different for me than most others. Don't get me wrong, I really like A Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's not my favorite out of the main four, obviously. I love Halloween, I love Texas Chainsaw, I love Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street falls a little better than the original Friday the 13th, but it's nowhere near as good as Halloween or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I know a lot of people would agree with me that Halloween and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are complete classics, and in their own right, they're probably a whole group ahead of the Nightmare on Elm Street, of A Nightmare on Elm Street. But I know a lot of people, especially people that I talk to, really enjoy A Nightmare on Elm Street, and it's their favorite, actually, of the main four movies. So that's a little bashing. Also, Freddy's my least favorite out of the main four. I know a lot of people don't love Leatherface, but I really like him. So, okay, so A Nightmare on Elm Street, basically, I'm sure you've heard the plot if you're watching this, but maybe you haven't. It's about this child murderer that was killed, named Freddy Krueger, or Fred Krueger as he's called in this movie, and he's killed by the parents of some of the children of Elm Street, and basically he comes back, and the parents who murdered him have kids now, or their kids have grown up into teenagers, and he comes and kills them in their dream. Whenever they die in the dream, they die in real life. So that's basically the plot to the movie. It's a really good movie by Wes Craven, and it's one of Wes Craven's finest, if not his finest film. Some argue Scream's better, some argue Nightmare on Elm Street's better. I like Nightmare on Elm Street more than Scream, but it's a toss-up. I do enjoy Scream quite a bit, but by any means, Wes Craven's done a lot of crapshoots, so this is by far one of his best movies. If you don't know about Freddy, he's burned. He wears a hat. He wears a red and green striped sweater, and he has knives for fingers, as they say in this movie. But it's really a glove that has razors attached to the ends of all the fingers, or the four fingers that are on his right hand. So a lot of people were horrified whenever this movie came out, because it was definitely a new concept. It was definitely something that a lot of people were afraid of after they saw it, because of course the character kills you when you sleep, so you're scared to go to sleep after you watch this. And for the time in 1984, horror movies weren't as abundant as they are today, and this one's obviously not as gimmicky as some of the ones we have now in time. So basically, a lot more people were horrified of this whenever they seen it, and the character of Freddy really made them afraid to go to sleep. So I mean, that's understandable. The effects in this movie are pretty top notch. There's actually a scene where Tina, one of the characters, is murdered by Freddy, and her boyfriend Rod watches as she's being pulled across the roof, or well, the ceiling of the room, and she gets slashed apart, and then she falls back down, and they turned the room upside down for that, and they had him like harnessed to the ceiling so they could do the shot. That way it made the room look like it was upside down, but he was still sitting there. It's a really great shot, and it's probably one of the best things in the movie. Personally, I'd say my favorite part in the movie is whenever Tina wakes up in the night and Freddy throws a tooth in her window, and she goes outside to check on it, and he attacks her, and he puts his claw up in front of his face, and he says, she's like, "Oh God," or something to that, something like that, and he's like, "This is God," and he runs after her, and she gets killed, and obviously then it shows the shot where she's going across the upside down room and everything. So Nightmare on Elm Street, a really good one, but it's not my favorite in the franchise. Tune in next time to see me review A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge.